All right. Welcome, Steve Weston, to the Keep Time Studios. We have you on our nice couch today for this beautiful candidate interview. You're here talking to us about your ward, and your ward is Nakotaiska, which is Sioux Nations for the people. Can you tell us a little bit about that ward, a little bit about yourself,
That ward, wow.
and a little bit about your candidacy?
I grew up in that ward. I was born in Meadowlark, which is no longer in that ward, but yeah, I grew up there, and then spent most of my teen years in La Pearl, and yeah, I lived a little bit in Mill Woods, and then moved back to La Pearl about 6 years ago and bought a house, and yeah, I love it. I wish I never left.
Can you tell us a little bit why you want to run for city council?
Just to help people of the ward. I mean, when I first decided to run, it was, I wanted to help the seniors and I wanted to help the homeless, and I had all these, big ideas. And then as I started talking to people in the ward, they started reaching out to me, and it was, yeah, I had someone break down and cry about the ETS changes and things like that, and yeah, I just figure I can do better than what's being done right now.
Let's talk about what you're going to do to revitalize the economy from the COVID pandemic. Is there anything that you can say that your ward needs that is not being addressed?
Oh yeah, there's tons. I think the most important thing is to stop the foolish spending. I see all kinds of spending. I think they spent 30 million or something like that on seats for the LRT. And I just read recently they're spending $8 million on a footbridge. And meanwhile, Westview Village doesn't have a sidewalk coming out of the trailer park going anywhere. So if anyone wants to go for a walk, shopping, anything, they're walking on the road, and there's a bridge right there. So it's dangerous.
The LRT development to the West End has been a big issue in your ward and riding. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on there? Do you stand for what Andrew Knack has done so far with the new route in line?
No, once again, more foolish spending. From what I hear, it's merely a trolley that runs from downtown to the West End, going slower than traffic, and it's going to do nothing but disrupt traffic and make people angry. And yeah, it's unnecessary. I understand wanting to get cars off the road, and transit's necessary, but this doesn't seem proper. It doesn't seem well thought out. You look at other cities and what they're doing, like Vancouver, for instance. Yeah, you have the train above ground, right? And it could go fast. It could go, you get from A to B a lot quicker.
Can we talk a little bit then about your platform itself? Can we talk about homelessness?
Well, the homeless population is probably the highest on my list, and it's one of those fights that's been going on forever, right? And who knows if it'll go on forever, but yeah, it's one that's important to keep doing.
Is there a conversation being had right now?
Oh yeah, well the city's trying, right? They're doing things. They're giving these people houses, but I think it's more important to address why they're homeless, right? The mental health, their addictions, that sort of thing. And then yeah, I see these people on the streets, and it breaks my heart, right?
Do you think their needs are adequately being met right now?
No, I don't think so at all. And yeah, you see the rate of crime right now, and I think a lot of these criminals are just people with mental illness or addictions that need to be. And I get it. It's harder than just, oh yeah, we're gonna treat you, and okay, right? It's not that easy, but yeah, there's steps that need to be done before giving them a place to live.
If elected to city council, how would you be able to help better these vulnerable communities?
I would get to know them. I would go and talk to the people in charge. I would, right now I'm a truck driver. I work construction. I don't have time to go to these shelters and talk to these people. But if I was elected, I would definitely get to know the people in charge and talk to anyone that's...
I am not sure if it is an issue in the ward you are running for. But is there anything to be said about the closure of the safe injection sites and everything that's happening in our downtown community in regards to the homeless population?
No, I think those sites are absolutely necessary, and it's something they should have on every side of the city. And the people I talk to, and let's say High Park, for example, they're finding needles on the ground everywhere. There's businesses that are they're afraid to leave after they're closed, and yeah, I think these people need somewhere to go and someone to help them. So we shouldn't find these people dead on the streets, right?
Do you think there needs to be reconciliation with the marginalized people and the factors that led them to such a situation?
Well, yeah, and I think the safe injection sites would help. I think I read about one in Vancouver where they became friends with the users of the sites, right? And they were addictions counselors, and they would talk to them when they come in, and eventually they would convince them to get help. And yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you would address policing and mental health issues in our city? How should we go about working with them?
I think defunding the police is an absolutely ridiculous idea. It's with crime at an all-time high, that's the last thing we need. And the EPS seems to be getting better at dealing with mental health issues, and they have programs where they send out social workers with police officers. And I think a lot of the times when the police are called, they're not necessarily needed, where it's, it's the son won't listen to his mom or something like that, right? Like you don't need to call the police for that, where you can have, a social worker come down and address the problem, that sort of thing. But yeah, taking money from them is not what we need. We need to, if anything, give them more funds.
Which ways would you like to revamp the addiction and mental health programs that our city currently offers?
Well, just focus more on social work. Like I said, social work, even things like the safe injection sites, right? Things like that, where you can help them and you can, and not lock them up for being stoned or whatever, right? It's more of taking a social work approach to it.
What's going on in that ward when it comes to housing?
Oh, it's on 100th Ave when you're driving in from, let's say, Anthony Henday. There's you'll see tents on the side of the road where the trees are, and yeah, you go to the superstore and there's a guy with a sign. You go pretty much anywhere, any busy corner, you see the guy with the sign, "I'm homeless, help me," that sort of thing, right? And yeah, it's just a matter of actually helping them. And I honestly believe that some of them don't want help, that some of them want to be out, and it's sad, but yeah, they prefer that life for whatever reason.
Can you tell me a little bit about this being your first time running for city council? Do you consider yourself the underdog going against Andrew Knack in this constituency right now?
Oh, 100%. I'm a truck driver. I'm not a politician, and he's looking for his third term, right? So it definitely, I'd be the underdog. But the more doors I knock on, the more people I talk to, the more I think they're looking for change.
What has not been done, what has not been accomplished, and what needs to be addressed in your ward?
I think very little has been accomplished in my ward. And I think it's more, the LRT, let's build the rec center, let's do all these big things. And talking to these people, that's what they're upset about. They want someone to represent them that listens to them. They don't want to be talked to. They don't want a 10-minute reply not answering their questions, right?
Can we talk about the roads then? Are the roads important for your...
Oh, very much so.
Why so? What needs to be done?
Well, they need to be fixed. In my community, in La Pearl, it's almost embarrassing, the roads and sidewalks. And we keep getting told this neighborhood revitalization, it's coming. Well, we've been hearing that for 8 years, right? So,
is there anything about you that represents your ward directly that you think constituents and voters in their ward will see in you when you're running for city council?
Hardworking, blue collar. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a politician. I'm like everyone else in that ward, right? I work hard. I come home and I mow my lawn. And
anyways, do you have any last things you would like to tell the Keep Times audience?
I will listen to you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to take what you say to City Hall and get whatever needs to be done.
Thank you very much. Well, thanks, Steve Weston. He is running for Ward 1, formerly Ward 1, now Nakota Iska of the beautiful Sioux Nations. Thanks for being with us today.
No problem.